The NASCAR Cup Series now makes its way into the round of 12 for the 2024 playoffs, where we'll take those 12 drivers and then shrink it down to 8 by the end of these 3 races. I expect the same amount of chaos as round 1, and in this video, I'm going to be predicting who I think has the opportunity to make it into the next round, as well as the drivers that I think will be eliminated. Round 1, I wasn't really on it. I really only predicted one driver, and that was Harrison Burton, and that was really a slam dunk, because realistically, he never had a chance unless he lucked into a win at Atlanta or something. But the way that these videos work, to break it down quick before we dive into who's going to make it and who isn't, is we have each track with a table. Left column are the drivers, and if they're highlighted in blue, they have won at that racetrack with the next gen car. And then in the right column, we have the average finishes that are color coded. Green is good average finish, it's 8th or higher. Anything that's 9th to about 12th place is yellow, which is a little sketchy, but still a decent average finish. And then the danger zone is anything outside of that 12th place finish, anywhere on 13 on back. You know, that's like the danger zone. You're not really gonna go pretty far if you're getting those types of average finishes. We have the enter as they enter into this round right here, this table, and then I have the exit. Now, if I have these 3 drivers that I'm going to have highlighted are going to be the winners of this round. So that's kind of everything that I need to explain out of the way. Now let's dive into it and let's see who's going to win and who's going to make it and who's going to miss. At least who I think, you know, because I'd like to do better than 25% for the last round. Maybe I can get to 50 or 75 or even 100. That'd be cool. But I doubt it because, you know, there's going to be chaos this round. All right, first up, let's look at the 3 drivers that I have to win their way into the next round. And that is the following of Christopher Bell, William Byron, and Chase Elliott. And it's pretty simple. Toyota runs extremely well at Kansas. I expect Christopher Bell to win at Kansas. They've always been in the top 5 at Kansas. Toyota has. Up until last year, they won basically every race there. Denny Hamlin, 2311 Racing. This year was the first year that a Chevy won. So I expect Toyota to get back to their dominance of Kansas, and I think Christopher Bell will win there. I can also see William Byron winning there too. We'll see what happens. It'll actually be Jeff Gordon won the inaugural Kansas race on September 30th, 2001, if I remember correctly. This race will take place on September 29th, one day prior to the anniversary of that. So, if you're superstitious, that's something that I would look at. So I also can see William Byron winning there. I can also see William Byron maybe winning at the Charlotte Roval. I don't know about Talladega. We'll see what happens there. He was close there last year. Last year at Charlotte, though, he finished 2nd, so I can see him winning there. He won at COTA earlier this year. He's a good road course racer. I like Chase Elliott to win at Talladega. I mean, I really think he's got to win again. He had that win at Texas. He's been extremely consistent. So I think he wins at Talladega and makes his way into the next round on a win. So I have 2 Hendrick drivers on wins and 1 Joe Gibbs Racing driver on wins. And I think that that's pretty respectable. These drivers that I'm picking, it's not just one racetrack they can win at. They can win, honestly, at any of the 3. So that's the drivers I like. Let's look at 2 drivers that I like to make it in on points. And it's no-brainers. It's Kyle Larson and Tyler Reddick, 2 of the most consistent, dominant drivers this season. And Kyle Larson has almost a 40-point cushion over the cut line. Now, Kansas is his best racetrack with a 3.4 average finish. Talladega is an Achilles heel like most super speedways, but I think if he goes into Kansas and just kind of points races, even if he doesn't win and just kind of gets like a stage win or 2 and then like finishes top 5, there'll be enough points on top of having that cushion where he can go into Talladega and just kind of ride around and finish 20th and not wreck out and just have, again, another 20 points from that. That cushion, something catastrophic would have to happen in Kansas for me to have to worry about the next 2 races, because the next 2 races are poor finishes with the next-gen car. I mean, Charlotte isn't kind to him either, but he won at Sonoma earlier this year, so I can again see the 5 team kind of getting their stuff together and having a good race at the Roval, good race at Kansas, and then Talladega being a wash. Kyle Larson's a no-brainer. He's going into the next round. Tyler Reddick, same thing. Won at Kansas last year. Doesn't have a decent average finish there, but I think, again, Toyota will be dominant. 2311 and that 45 car won a lot of races at Kansas. I think they can not repeat, but run up front. Talladega, he won at earlier this spring, but again, 20th place average finish. If he does what he can do at Kansas, get the points, Talladega, again, like Larson, can be a wash. Maybe get some stage points, have that cushion, and then use it to go into Charlotte, get 10, 9, 8 points from staying out, and then just not have to worry about, any shenanigans that might happen there. Because if you remember, Charlotte's going to be reconfigured. So we don't know what's going to happen there, but we can kind of still know who the good road course racers are in the next gen car, and Tyler Reddick's one of them. So he'll run well at Charlotte. He'll run well at Kansas. Talladega, we'll see, but he has that win there. He's proven he can win. I'm not worried about Tyler Reddick. Him and Larson, they'll make it. Let's look at two drivers that I like to be eliminated, and these will be the bottom two drivers, and that is Austin Cindric and Chase Briscoe. I had them getting eliminated last round. They ended up making it into the next round because of issues from other drivers at Bristol, and Austin Cindric came out and had a great race at Atlanta, got a lot of stage points, and that kind of gave him more of a cushion with the next few races, so he was able to kind of play strategy at Watkins Glen and other places where they didn't really have to worry about kind of going out there and really going as crazy as they had to make it and then making a mistake. That Atlanta race really set them apart. I don't think that that'll happen in this round just because Talladega would have to be the track where they kind of have that big points day, and I just don't see it because Talladega is a lot different of an animal than Atlanta. It's easier to block at Atlanta with all the Penske cars. At Talladega, there could be 3-4 lanes. You can't block all those lanes. So I don't think Cindric has a good point stay at Talladega. He's got the worst average finish at Kansas, so that really right there alone should just tell you that he's not going to make it. And then Charlotte, he's a good road course racer, but a 23rd place average finish, it's nothing spectacular. All of his average finishes are in the red, so in theory, he just shouldn't make it, but, chaos and whatnot can happen, so we always have to think of that, but I don't think he'll make it. Chase Briscoe, another driver, Cinderella season, made it in the final season of Stewart-Haas Racing, but again, the average finishes just aren't there. 20th place average finish, outside of a 20th place average finish at Kansas. At Talladega, 15.2 is not terrible, but not good enough. And then an 18.5 at the Roval. I think even if he gets stage points at Talladega and the Roval by, staying out and trying to get those points, I still think Kansas, plus him not being above the cut line, is enough for him to not make it. So I'm not really considering him to make it into the round of 8. Plus the equipment, I think it's all better equipment than Stewart-Haas Racing. So he's getting eliminated. Let's look at two more drivers that I like to advance, and then we'll go back to not advancing and back and forth. So I like Denny Hamlin and Alex Bowman to make it. I had Bowman getting eliminated. I was a doubter. I'm on the Bowman train. Very consistent. He's been running well. He scored the most points in the last 3 races. He has a good average finish, 7.5 at Kansas. Talladega, he finished inside the top 5, I believe, in the spring race, and he has a 13.75 average finish. And then at the Roval, he's got an 8th place average finish. He's a great road course racer, won at the Chicago Street Race. I just think Alex Bowman is going to have a great round. I know he's starting below the cut line, but I think that he'll be able to put together a good run at Kansas, get some stage points, maybe get a 6th and a 5th place in the stages, or at least one of the stages, get a top 10, kind of jump into the playoffs by Talladega, ride around, avoid carnage, and then, race his way in at the Roval, safely. I don't think there'll be an issue with him making it. I was a doubter. Now, Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin has the best average finish at Kansas in the next gen car, 2.8. That's going to be the race. It has to be. If he does not do well at that race, I don't think he'll make it into the next round because Talladega has not been kind to him with a 16th place average finish with the next gen car. Now, he did say on his podcast at these speedway races that they're very analytical and their strategy is to just get the points. Whatever the points say to get, that's what they aim for. So if he tries to do what he did at Atlanta and he doesn't do well at Kansas, I don't see him making it into the next round, but I think he'll make it, especially Charlotte not being kind to him with a 25th place average finish. But I just think if he has his great top 5 Kansas race, gets all the stage points that he can get, go into Talladega, ride around, finish 15th, that's enough, and then just go into the Roval and just kind of just get stage points. Don't try to get cute. Don't go in with pitting at the end of the stage. Get the stage points and just make it into the next round. So I think Denny Hamlin will be safe. Same thing for Bowman. Now let's look at one driver that I want to get eliminated, and then we'll do the last 2 together. So this driver might come as a shock to some because it is an even number year. That's Joey Logano. Now you might think, okay, why Joey Logano? He has 2 wins on the year. Nashville was a fluke, 5 overtimes. Everybody else ran out of fuel. He was able to win that race. He shouldn't have won that race. I mean, it's circumstance. You know, you can't say, well, what if, because what if with other things too. But I don't think Joey Logano is going to make it into the next round. Kansas has not been kind with a 15-point average finish. Talladega, he's a great plate racer, but for some reason in the next-gen car, he just can't finish the race. 26.4 average finish, almost, I think he's wrecked out of every next-gen Talladega race that I can think of. I mean, somebody might have to fact check that, but I'm pretty sure he's wrecked in every single one. And then Charlotte, again, nothing crazy, 11.5 average finish. If it comes down to the Charlotte Roval to make it into the next round, he can't. It just won't happen. Like, it has to be a Talladega, but Talladega hasn't been kind to him. So I just don't see Logano making it in. Like I said, I know it's an even number year, but just the average finishes on these style of racetracks, just not there, versus some other guys that, you know, like are below the cut line, like Bowman. He'll just leapfrog them. So that kind of brings it down to the last two drivers. And this was a driver that I was very high on in the round of 12. I'm not as high this round, and that is Daniel Suarez. And I have him being eliminated, and I have Ryan Blaney making it by 2 points. And here's what I think is going to happen. I think Blaney and Suarez are going to come out of Kansas, have an equal type race. Maybe Blaney gets more stage points. I still think they finish around the same, 10 to 15. Talladega, Ryan Blaney has the best average finish at Talladega, but I think it's time for something to happen at these Talladega races. Like, maybe he just is invincible at them, but I think if I was a betting man, I would say this would be the year that something might happen to him. I think then Suarez has a great Talladega race, finishes inside the top 5, gets stage points, gets it close. They go into the Roval. Suarez has the worst average finish at the Roval, but that's because of issues. But I think that something is going to continue with that bad luck. And I think Blaney is going to somehow, even though he has a 19th place average finish, I think if it were to come down to the Roval, I'm taking the defending series champion in experience to make it over Daniel Suarez. I know Suarez is a better road racer with the next-gen car with that win at Sonoma years ago, but Ryan Blaney has a win at the Roval. You know, so it's like, I could see them both having the same type of round, but I really think Blaney will get in over Daniel Suarez. So those are the drivers that I have making it into the round of 8. Let me know what you like, you know, what drivers you think will make it in, who you like or who you don't like. Like I said, I'm rolling with Daniel Suarez, Joey Logano, Austin Cindric, and Chase Briscoe to be eliminated at the end of this round. And I really think that I'm confident this time around. I really think I can get more than one driver correct. And if I get 2, then that's a success. But I hope I can get 100%. I really think this is the round. So let me know what you guys have to say down in the comments. I appreciate everybody's support, and I will see you in the next video.